Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Poppin' was cracking. It's D. Boss reacts to this Dramari video. It's titled "She Is Awful," and it has 1,000 written on a piece of paper. Is this the same girl who was saying that her goal was to sleep with 1,000 men, or is this a new girl that she inspired? Don't know, but let's watch.
For the last couple of months, things have gotten even darker in the world of OF girls.
Oh, what's she
We
doing?
had previously discussed how Bad Baby, aka the Catch Me Outside girl,
Catch me outside, how about that?
made loads of money on OF the day she turned 18.
Is it true you made over $1 million in your first 6 hours?
Yes.
And now you have many other girls making tens of millions of dollars a year. And one girl specifically made $43 million last year on OF alone.
I was serving at a regular minimum wage job, driving there every day. I'm like, what can I do different?
Which breaks down to over $199,000 per hour for her work week.
$4 million in a month?
Yeah.
It's weird. She also looks 14, so get your bag, I guess.
Thanks.
I mean, these chicks are out here putting up bigger numbers than NBA stars. One guy specifically has sent her over $4.3 million since he stumbled upon her page. And she claims to have never even met the man who coins himself as Charlie. And the lore actually gets much sadder when you watch this video of the very same girl when she's a child saying what she wants to be when she grows up.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
A doctor and an astronaut.
Oh my god, that is so precious. I've never actually heard anybody say they want to be an
That's so
astronaut. Because,
sad.
obviously it never works, that's why. But,
Yeah, sometimes reality does hit you fast. Either way, $4 million on some digital cheeks has to be just about the biggest waste of money I've ever seen.
you blew it!
Like that is some Black Mirror parasocial down bad behavior this fellow is partaking in. But at least that relationship remained online. Whereas these two other girls from London have been running around trying to break records for the most people they can sleep with in one day.
On it picked up. Join the video.
Oh my god. All these incels. Y'all.
How many shoes are you guys?
Not them trying to hide their faces with the hood.
I'll show you later. Well, these are all the guys. There's more in there as well.
It's almost like when an NFL or MLB team holds open tryouts for the general public. Only in this case, the whole event is one chick busting it wide open for her many followers. Or in some cases, just random men off the street that they can find. And for that video, she was specifically looking for 100 men to run the choo-choo, and a man named Josh Peters actually made a documentary on the entire event. And some of the things shown in it are downright sad, but also teach a great lesson. Like when she talks about the fact that her father now wants nothing to do with her because she is so embarrassing.
Have you recognized any of the names in here of people that you might know?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's been some guys outwardly say we used to go to school together, or some of Dad's friends and stuff like that.
What messaging you?
Yeah. I do feel a little bit embarrassed being Mom and Dad, I'm 100 guys.
Why?
A little embarrassed?
I guess because it's not really what my parents would have wanted me to do.
And that despite the monetary success, she feels that most men see her as an object because of her line of work. There are also other anecdotal stories presented here to suggest that this lifestyle isn't exactly all it's cracked up to be, and it seems like many of the people who do partake in this industry are left with some sort of PTSD.
The problem is that when you sign up to objectifying yourself, it's like you're signing a deal with the devil. No one is going to see you as a human being. It gets to the point where everyone objectifies you. That's the reality of it. You're like the cash cow.
I also found it interesting that she makes the point that everyone starts out innocent enough, maybe just taking lewd photos in lingerie or a swimsuit.
I heard this about OnlyFans. They said that it's like a gateway situation to where you might start off, just I'm just going to post, pictures of, myself in a bikini. I'm not going to show any skin. But when that money start drying up, because people, inevitably get bored and they're like, oh, this is all you showing. You ain't showing nothing else. So they're going to start to dip. As your money going down, it's like, all right, I'll show a nipple. All right, I'll show you a little something, a little flash. All right. And then people start coming back, but then the same thing happens. It's like a repeat. It's like, all right, we tired of seeing a part of your nipple. You ain't doing nothing else. It's like, all right, I guess I'll take my whole top off. So I feel like, over time, it's like they feel that pressure to keep doing more and more and more. And then, they full on doing corn, showing you their whole, cervix.
But eventually, once the money and the offers start coming in to get more explicit, it's hard not to say yes.
I started off just doing bikini pictures and lingerie, but it is a slippery slope, and the demand is more. Before you know it, you're having a camera.
And is that something you regret?
There's a lot I regret on there.
But to me, there's really not enough money in the world to fill the void that comes with selling your soul.
Even I can imagine. I can imagine the stigma. Because even with me, I made an OnlyFans just to put my fucking travel content up. You know, like that was the whole point. Because back then when I made, this was a few years ago, Patreon had a lot of issues. My patrons, y'all know, Patreon was on some bullshit, so I was really annoyed with the platform, and I just feel like OnlyFans had more freedom with certain stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna move my tribal stuff over to OnlyFans specifically. So that's all I put up on there. Like, I didn't show nothing. It was just me talking, like sitting down in this setting like this. But people still to this day will be like, well, you do OnlyFans, so you can't talk, and how you gonna react to this when you do it OnlyFans? And I'm just like, so I can only imagine people who are actually showing their body on there, like the image that, they have. Because now I'm just like, fuck, I should have never even. Because I feel like people, they just assume, like, they don't know. I mean, I really don't give a fuck, to be honest, though. Whatever. Because I feel like people who know me, like, they know I wasn't on there doing anything weird. And that OnlyFans is still up, so if you're really curious, you can go on there and see what's on it. Anyway, but, yeah, so I can only imagine the stigma for people who actually on there, busting it open. Or even showing their bodies and showing, bikini pictures and trying to be sexual to any degree. I can only imagine what they have to go through.
Think about it, guys. Everywhere you go, you don't know who's seen this shit. I'm talking about friends, I'm talking about family, I'm talking about future associates, and maybe even just random people out there on the street.
You know what? Also, somebody I went to high school with, okay, that I follow on Instagram. I don't know if they watched me on here. If you do, hey, you kind of weird. But they DM'd me and was just like, oh, I subscribed to your OnlyFans. I had to see what you was doing on there. And I'm like, you weird. Because I said what I was doing. I said it was for travel vlogs, but I feel like they was like, yeah, she lying. And they went to go sign up anyway just to double check. When it's like, nigga, that is all I was doing on there. He like, oh yeah, I had to check in and make sure. So yeah, that is true. You never know who watching.
It came to my attention that when she did put out the notice to her fans that she would be having this open invitation, the messages were rolling in.
So how are you doing this? You put out a phone number.
Yeah.
And people can just apply?
Yeah, so I put out a little Twitter post, and all you do always have to send in a photo of you holding your ID, 2006.
Oh my god,
so
how does that make him? So 18,
yeah.
But when the actual date came, a lot of these guys pussied out, most likely because they are accustomed to never even being around a woman in the first place, and most of them likely just stay at home paying to look at pictures and videos of other men beating up the bucks.
It doesn't seem like things are going great. There are a lot of guys cancelling. They're scrambling now to find people at the last minute. I don't understand how the guys they're scrambling to find at the last minute are going to get STI checks in time.
Funny, like on the text, it was like, if you have any friends who'd like to take part, I was like, oh.
And despite what she claims, I know this has to have some sort of deep psychological impact on her.
It's not for the weak, girls, if I'm honest. It was hard. I don't know if I'd recommend it.
Like more intense than you thought it might.
Definitely.
Well, I guess her friend saw this behavior and decided that she wanted a piece of that online attention. So she went on a quest to be with 1,000 different men in one day. I am absolutely serious.
I'm the girl that lets men queue for hours. But on the 11th of January, I'm hosting an event and I want to give you a ticket so you can skip the queue
bitch?
And then get straight inside me.
Ew.
And her methods for recruitment had some people shaking their heads in disgust. Just watch as she tries to get this young man who's just trying to make some money working at Five Guys to get involved.
I just wondered, I can't see it on the menu, but where do I get the Five Guys from? The Five Guys. I didn't know if there was like a special room where you can take me out back. What about after your shift? I mean, I wanted to give you, a good rating.
Period.
I'm asking for what's on the menu, that's all.
Nasty ass. Leave him alone.
Are you on it?
Trying to take his innocence.
Oh, that's a shame.
Like, how is that not straight up solicitation? The dude is obviously young, and
He's
good for him for having his head
young.
on straight. But she openly brags about this type of behavior over and over
You
again.
predator, nasty, creepy bitch.
Your son, but I know my rights.
And she's like she in her 30s.
It's no secret, I'm the girl that slept with over 100 barely legal 18-year-olds at Nottingham for Freshers Week.
And the dude from Five Guys actually came out on Twitter to say that this wasn't on his bingo card and that he thought it was funny at first, but in hindsight he questioned why she never asked for his age, why she was so persistent, and why she never asked him for his consent to post the video in the first place. Because you know these short little videos are really just all promotion and to create buzz around this 1,000 men freak-off. Either way, eventually they would find 1,000 nasty individuals to spelunk this case.
Jamari cracks me up because the way he talks is so monotone and so like matter-of-factly, and he's just like, yeah, these freak-offs. I wonder.
Hey boys, I'm only a few minutes away from 73
Girl, go to
Newcastle
hell.
Street. Come right now and call me.
I'm sorry, but this has to be illegal. Like, if this was a man posting these videos online, the sick fuck would end up on a watch list. And she even has the audacity to call this a family event.
I'm hosting a family event this Sunday near Oxford Circus in London, and I'd love you and the boys to be there.
The boys? Nah, she's a pedo. The boys?
Like, can you imagine being number 1,000? Well, I guess this guy can.
Just out of curiosity, would you want to go first or last in my queue?
Oh.
I mean, you've got your admin, so are you going to be selfish and go first again, or are you going to...
Do you know what? I'd probably go last.
Yeah, save the best for last.
Best till last.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Again, you're going to be experienced, which you are anyway, but...
Nasty warm
Go to hell, little beast.
Flowing, yeah, I think, last could be better.
Perfect.
No. Someone needs to take old boy behind the shed. Like, he doesn't deserve oxygen anymore. Like, at that point, would you even feel anything? And really, would you want to? It would be like getting the 1,000th lick on a community scoop of ice cream. It's just disgusting. Or maybe like taking a glob of gum off that nasty wall that they have in Spain or whatever the fuck it is, and chewing that shit up in your mouth. It's just nasty. I also like how half these blokes are dressed on some Peaky Blinders shit, and the other half just have on crusty tube socks. I mean, just think about it. This was a decision that these men had a lot of time to ponder as they stood there in line next to their fellow man. And I just gotta say it, if they all ended up catching something after this, I would not feel bad for a single one of these individuals. Now afterwards, this is what she had to say about the event and her partaking in it.
This is what my face looks like after taking 1,000 men less than 12 hours ago.
Girl, shut up.
The big 1,000 was completely done. The room was absolutely full. Then we did groups of 5, like one after the other.
You're dead
fives.
inside, lady.
I wanted to give people more time, so then it went down to like one-on-ones, didn't it? So like one person would watch whilst I was with somebody, and then it would literally just be like a rotating circle like that.
Yeah, this woman is out here handing out generational trauma.
Let's get a round of applause in the room, people.
And her holding up that sign like she's Wilt fucking Chamberlain after his 100-point game is some nasty work. Like, who the hell is actually turned on by this type of content? In the end, this only took 12 hours of straight hot dog time to accomplish, meaning that each participant had around 40 seconds of fun before it was time to go. Overall, I think the normalization of this type of shit is very bad for our society, especially for young men and how it affects the way they look at and treat women. Like back in the day, it's not like all the corn stars were public figures. In fact, most of them were likely shamed. But nowadays, it's like you're just a girl boss for doing this type of shit. They'll show you off at sporting events. You can make public appearances. I mean, it's ridiculous. And a big part of me just doesn't understand the appeal of paying for something that is so readily available. And I also think everyone involved in this little fiasco has something deeply wrong with them. I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. I understand that nasty stuff like this has been going on since the dawn of time. But the fact that it's becoming so normal and like young preteens or teenage boys or teenage girls are being introduced to this type of stuff and these type of people in regular spaces like Instagram or Twitter where they're just doing their thing openly, trying to draw these individuals in. I don't know, something about that, it really just does not sit right with me. But I want to know what you guys think of.
But here's the thing, I feel like this surpasses corn though at this point. If you want to be a corn star, sure, that's your business, you're grown. I think it's a terrible idea, but ultimately that's up to you. You have to face the consequences of that. But these women are sleeping with, 100 people a day, 1,000 people a day. Like, That's wild. That's just so disgusting. Like, people who are even in the corn industry aren't doing that. You know, not in one day. Like, they may acquire those numbers after years of being in the industry, but you doing it in one day is wild. And I also don't like how they're trying to align themselves with influencers almost. It's like, you up here trying to make content as well and like showing yourself, you know, talking to guys at work, like bothering them at work, you know, just to try to go viral and like try to be like, oh, look, I'm an influencer girl boss and I'm making my own money. I'm an entrepreneur. Like, no, you nasty. I think even some corn stars would feel like this is extreme and this is nasty. Like 1,000 in one day, like you're taking it too far. This is wild. You know, just think of all the body fluids and stuff in one day. So it's not just about them having sex for money. I feel like this is like excessive and weird. And especially when they start to reveal how much money they're making as well, I feel like it does kind of incentivize young women to do the same thing, you know? So I feel like that's the biggest problem with this, you know? But I mean, ultimately they are grown, do what you want, but you're not free from judgment and, you know, criticism. And we're going to talk about how nasty you are. So there's that. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Let me know what other videos you've been watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.